Okay, I see there are no questions. So, good morning, everyone. Welcome once again, and to this very exciting session based on our field of data. I put a kind of thunder there to really represent the power in the tool and the application. So far, this is mainly a Uganda R User group, and we normally talk about R. But with the increasing space in data, that is in data analysis, data science, or even data engineering, but mainly around data, it's very hard to be quite good with one tool. If most of the times we go in for the interviews, we always find out that we are required to have at least R or Python, Power BI, and maybe databases. That is at least what we go in with. But sometimes even some jobs just require Power BI. So we are going to really go in for an intro. It's really going to be the basics and also understanding what Power BI is. Then we shall just create a small brief report, and that report we shall be able to they'll just demonstrate how the graphics come in. So we are not really going to go into really in depth. We shall maybe have another session for an advanced or more practical into details of the visualizations, how sharing reports works and everything later. But for this, it's going to aim at some small basic introductions to really get around Power BI. And you see, that means you can also create your own visualizations. Most of the things come in with practice. So that is really the objective of this session. Then later, and this is the aim of this session, is to introduce Power BI, but also to show how you can integrate it with R. Now, that's where you leverage R with Power BI, and that means it's a better superpower than leveraging only those two tools independently. So that's the aim of this session, to introduce you to Power BI so that we can see how we can integrate it with R. What is Power BI? And really, this Power BI, the power is, of course, power. Then BI is business intelligence. Uh, just to name off the tool, it's really business intelligence comes in with how you use data to drive insights in your business, or drive insights in the drive business decisions in your business. And how you do it really determines. You don't. It doesn't have to really be a predictive analytics. It's a lot of people who have a lot of data. Either it doesn't have to be business actually only, even in organizations. Even if you're working in public health, or you're working in environment, and also you're working in energy, it's quite good to have insights at a glance. Well, that's where the business intelligence is, though it's called business intelligence, not only for business. If you can really make reports that and dashboards that can easily inform your managers or the top directors on which step to take. For example, a brief one would be if you have two products, product A or product B. If your director can wake up one time every day and they look at the dashboard or a report and they see that product A is selling more than product B, that means they would retry. If they want to also maintain product B, that means they would spend more time with the team that is developing product B. And if they want to stick to one product, that means they would only choose product A because it's making more money. So having a tool to easily drive out such insights is where the business intelligence comes in. Uh, Power BI itself is developed by Microsoft, and of course, Microsoft Windows are ones that develop Windows, and it comes in three different formats. It comes in Power BI Desktop, which is a free version, and that's one of the versions I'm going to use on my computer. And then Power BI service. Power BI service is mainly where you send your reports on the cloud to be able to share them with other people or without not on your computer. So sometimes we want to make these presentations in our meetings physically or in Zoom, so you can display that like the way I'm going to do. That one you can do it with Power BI. But what if you want to, you are a data analyst and then you're serving so many people all over different countries, and maybe you don't always have the same time to come into the meeting to display that. Power BI service enables you to share that information with them. So that's the kind of Power BI service. So it's where you make the developments is Power BI desktop, but Power BI service is where you share those insights. Then Power BI mobile. Well, Power BI mobile is where you is enables people to use phones to view the reports that you make or the dashboards that you make. So that means people with phones, they can visualize your reports that you make from Power BI desktop. So if you kind of understand those different elements. So I want to confirm that you can hear me and that's clear. Because we're going to go a little bit over to other tools, is the introduction to Power BI fine. Okay, you can put that in the chat, but this is what I gave in the first example. The first example I talked about what is it used for. So I was just trying to elaborate what it really means and what's the purpose. The purpose of Power BI is to track the key performance indicators in your organization. Depending on what are the key indicators, that's what you really want to display in Power BI. That's what you really want to use Power BI for. There are some dashboards that are made with it, Excel, well, but Power BI does it better. So in case you are the person who has been making dashboards in Excel for your organization, you could really opt to learn a little bit of Power BI because it will give you an edge over so many people because of the ease of sharing, the ease of refreshing, all those things. I'm going to talk about that when I explain the difference between Power BI and Excel. But again, it's not only within that. Some people can use Power BI for other roles, though that is the main purpose. Because Power BI itself can be used to it can also be used to manipulate some data to some extent. So, and it's quite powerful, and you can actually be a professional and you only deal with Power BI and you deliver everything with Power BI. So it really depends on what you want to do with it. But the key, you'll find most people really using it to display key performance indicators and visuals. I'll talk about the difference between Power BI and other tools, mainly the ones that are really known, and to give you why Power BI and why not the other tools. Okay, so I will explain this. At least I will expect some feedback to say that we are together or a question in the chat. So there is a tool called Tableau and then also Power BI. Of course, versus Power BI. So Tableau is actually in the same niche with Power BI. Well, the other tools, by the way, though these are the kind of the most popular ones at the moment. Tableau actually does exactly the same one, almost has some very similar characteristics with Power BI. The only difference, okay, so far, which can make you choose between Tableau and Power BI, is that Tableau itself can be installed on Windows and Mac OS or Ubuntu. So Tableau can go through different operating systems. Right now, you are seeing the visuals displayed on. I'm using a Microsoft computer that is a Windows computer, but because that's where I wanted to have Power BI desktop. Though now Power BI, that's the downside of Power BI. But Power BI, you cannot display it on. You cannot install it on Mac OS. The only thing you can do is you can maybe use the browser. Okay, that kind of way you could use the browser version to use Power BI, but you cannot install it on other operating system. That's the downside of Power BI. However, Power BI is quite cheaper if you're using a professional version. So there is a professional version and then also just a free version. So Power BI Desktop has a free version, but there are some limitations in terms of connecting to different data sources. You may not connect to some data sources if you wanted to use Power BI free version. So if you go to the figures, Power BI normally is quite cheaper than Tableau. So that's why most people can go in for Power BI. And then also Power BI, it's a tool that is developed by Microsoft. So if you've been using Microsoft Word, Microsoft that is PowerPoint, you find Power BI quite similar to getting, but so that's mainly the difference between Tableau. Just summarizing, Tableau can be installed on almost all the operating systems, and then Power BI can only be installed in. I'm trying to mean Power BI desktop can only be installed on Windows computers. Coming to Excel and then Power BI, yes, I've explained earlier that some people even create dashboards within Excel, but then Power BI has the ability to. So and then I was saying that Power BI has the ability to refresh and also has a better extent in terms of visualizations. So if you've really been doing visuals in Excel, you'll find that Power BI is more suited. It's more suited for that niche of making dashboards and reports of visuals. So it has a better edge than Excel in terms of how to work with business intelligence. Well, the last previous session that we have or we had as a group, we looked at R Shiny versus Power BI. And well, the first major difference there is R Shiny is an R package within R, the ecosystem. Then also Power BI. Power BI is more of a whole general software that is developed by Microsoft. Well, R Shiny is quite free, like really free, that you can use it to any extent. You can access all any types of data sources on a at free. But then Power BI, you cannot do some things without paying. So it has a small. You have to pay at some point. Well, with R Shiny, it really requires a lot of understanding in terms of R and also how to work with code and everything. But with Power BI, actually, you can work with a lot of things without knowing so much code, or even without knowing code. But sometimes you may need to come in with DAX when you are working with Power BI. But those are the major differences. If you want to save some money, then you go with R Shiny. But then if you really find out that that the trade-off is like this is easier to use, and trust me, Power BI is easier to use, then you would go with Power BI. So it really depends on what you want to have at the end of the day. So I think that's a lot of Power BI. I may be wrong. Kindly share your thoughts. I'll give it like 2 minutes for people to either unmute or even put in the chat. What do you think about Power BI? Have you used Power BI before? What do you use Power BI for? And also any questions in case I've missed out to mention something. I'll expect at least someone to mention, I think this is great. Or even what you've learned, saying that, oh, I didn't know this happens. I didn't know this is the difference between this and that. Next, we're just going to go and try to see where we can get Power BI in terms of downloading, open it up, try to see, show you around. the any questions or feedback? You're very welcome. Oh, Tony, nice question. Thank you. Okay, as I answer Tony, others can put the questions in the chat. Well, R Shiny and Power BI. Well, I've talked about R Shiny, but Shiny is even in Python now, though it's still in the development stage. So R Shiny is more advanced than Python. The Shiny in Python. So I'll stick to Shiny. Shiny is an R package that you install within R, like other packages that we installed previously in our R sessions. So that's how you get the capability. So you have your R, you do install packages, then you put Shiny within the quotes, then it comes in. That's the package. Now with R Shiny, you can create dashboards, web applications, and you can create you can create first of all of course dashboards, but even tools that do different things that related to data. That's the extent of R Shiny. R Shiny has the capability of really being edited to the core, because R Shiny is more like combining HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. If you master all those three, all those four, then you have a lot of power in terms of highly customizing to a bit that someone may not even tell that this dashboard was made from R Shiny. It has the ability, of course, to connect to almost all available data sources. That's the power. And it is quite free. Like you can start learning R Shiny to the point of doing so many things without paying, even accessing so many data sources. So if you really have an individual company and you have the skill, that means you do want to save some money, you might go with R Shiny. But then Power BI. Power BI is quite simpler. It's more about most times just dragging visualizations, and even someone if someone is coming for if someone is good with visualizations in Excel, they can go to and start using Power BI on a go. You just need like less time to learn and go with Power BI, and it gives you outputs at a glance. Like you don't really have stress to debug so many things. Yeah, and of course the trade off is you pay some money if you really want to use Power BI to a full extent. But don't get me wrong, there are a lot of things that you can do with Power BI minus paying. But though sometimes, most times when we go to a business setting, you find out that to you'll need, if you're really using it quite often, you'll need to put some budget off to pay for Power BI. So that's the power there between the two. It really depends on what you can do. So I feel like there's high customization. Shiny Power BI may not really be to that extent of customizing almost each and every bit of your dashboard. Yeah, and also you can code in Power BI most times if you want to really have that level of flexibility. There is a language called DAX, that is data analysis expressions. You can, if you know it, if you learn it, you can really customize so many things from terms of transformations. Okay. In case you wanted my opinion, if you need to learn two or one of them, I suggest that you learn both of them. Uh, because most times they kind of, if you go to workplaces, most times you find out that some people want something quick, other sometimes people want something complex, but they don't know that that's the extent that it needs, so you may go to R Shiny. And sometimes some people can get employment when they are R Shiny developers, and other people can get employment when they are Power BI developers, and that's it. So you want to also be able to have that level of flexibility. Just get some time, learn some Power BI. Okay, that's, I think I tried to explain that a lot. I was waiting for other people to ask questions, but I'm going to just go to the part of I'm going to go to the part of how to get Power BI to our computers. So I'll share my screen and then show you how to go around that. So let me stop sharing here. So sharing, if you're reading through the article I sent, actually I told you I used it for as a refresher before this. Uh, it is it's mainly showing you how to really go and download everything. But the first thing is that I'm starting with Google because that's what we shall do when we that's what we shall do immediately we that's what we shall do immediately we want to download something. So this is Google, just that is an extension that is displaying everything, but this is just Google. So that's the first thing you'll do. But again, they will try to show you that where they recommend you to get everything. So remember, we talked about Power BI desktop and also Power BI service and then Power BI mobile. So those are different. Even you could read through more of them here and what they do. So I will go to the point of which one do we want to download. We want actual download Microsoft Power BI Microsoft. So if you notice, that's why I display the whole tool. It will take you, if you go to the official website, it will take you to the Windows store. And then this is where you have to get the Power BI. So another person, if you're already having your Microsoft store, you can just come and type in what? Power BI. So that's what it will bring for you. So you want to get Power BI desktop. Okay. So mine is already installed. And if you can see, it's just asking me to what? To it's just asking me to open it. But this will install this Power BI desktop on your computer. So that's how easy it is. It's not like other applications like R, whereby you you get a download, then you go in your downloads, then you click on an app on icon, then it loads, then after that it starts installing. No, this one goes through the Microsoft Store. So I hope that's clear. uh can I confirm maybe in the chat like, oh, I have Power BI, or I've done this before? And so can I have that feedback if most of us have the Power BI? Yeah, so Juliet does have it. Okay. So I'll just close this. It was open, and I'll try to go and search for Power BI. So I'm going to open up my Power BI, and that's where you join me from. Okay. Okay. I hope you're seeing my screen. So this is where you're going to start up with your Power BI desktop. If you have used it, of course, there will be recent sources here, and depending on where you are, uh, you ask you if you have used it before. So mine has, but for you, if you have just it, you may not have anything. You can get started here with get data and maybe other resources, but whenever, at least for the start, I think this would be overwhelming. You could just remove that or close that. So I'll just walk you through main phase of the Power BI desktop and show you most of the times where you get everything. So like I told you, it was developed by Microsoft. So the interface, at least you'll see that it's kind of related to my other Microsoft products. So of course it has this ribbon up here and it has home, insert, modeling, view, and help. So, but let's focus on home because that's where we're going to get most everything. So since most of the things are focusing with data, again, there is having data. You could work with the Excel book and all other elements. But this is where most of the options that you want to do things comes in, the home part, like how you work with Microsoft Word or PowerPoint. Then there is this site here. It's called the view panel, whereby others call it the views. But here you have the report view, you have the data view, and also you have the model view. I'll explaining each says that the report view is where you put in your visualizations. You're going to see where everything comes in, but you put your visualizations here, and this is where you create your Power BI reports. Then the data view is when you import in data. We are going to see it. When you put in your data here, most of the data in the tabulated format will be displayed here. So you'll be able to see your data. Then here, it really shows the relationships between your data sets. In case you have more than one data set, you will come and see that here. Uh, that is the views. So you change the kinds of views that you want. Down here, you can create more than one page. So this altogether, you can have one report, Power BI report, but with different pages. An example would be if you are creating reports for a business. Sometimes you have sales, others you have your employees, and sometimes you have also expenditures. And also you can have even a tool about your profits, things like that. So you find out that you can separate them into different pages based on the topic that you want to display. But again, they are within, or they're talking about the same data set. So that's where everything comes in. But we shall focus on only one page here. As you can see, like if you right click in Excel, you can rename, duplicate, delete those pages. But let's leave it to that. So you can name these cells, maybe customers, things like that. Then we have this one here where you say you add data to your report. Here you first put in your data, but you'll see this is where we visualize our data. And then we have filters. Most times you want to add fields that you want to filter your data based on. This is where the fields come in. And then also you have visuals. You can see there are quite so many visualizations here. If you want a stacked bar chart, if you want to still have a stacked column chart, that is when it is in, even if you want maps. But also they talk about in case you want to add Python. Well, there are so many, and also there are other extensions that come in. But we want to focus on having basics. But depending on your use case, most of your visuals will be here, most of them, because that's the strength of Power BI. So you won't be limited. And okay, and also you can add in text, bubble charts, and also I talked about maps already. Yeah. Then here, this is where your data, when you import in your data, this is where it displayed, and that's where you want to most of the times you drag your columns from here to here. So that's what I can talk about. So do you have any questions on these panels? in case I missed out something that maybe you at a glance you could not really understand. Any questions?
I think we are following.
Okay, thank you. So with that, I think the most important thing with when we are learning a new tool is not to learn everything at once. The most important thing we want to just we want the most important thing is that we want at least to get one data set, at least draw a bar chart, and at least we shall call it a day. I think when I'm learning something new, that's my objective. So we are going to first see how we get in data, and then we know. So first of all, of course, it prompts you here if you want to get data. You can say import data from Excel, import data from the SQL Server, and then also maybe copy and paste in a blank into a blank table. Then also try a sample data set. So I will start with import from Excel, though our practicals, because I want you to always find, I want you to always get the data set within whatever we practice, you can get that data set. So I'll go in to get some data here. So here, when you get some data here, you find out that you have a lot of all sources, but then they are categorized based on, because this is all of them. And like I talked about, there are so many data sources that you can get. So all these types of data sources, you can get data about them within Power BI. Power BI also can access by the web APIs in case you didn't know. But here, in case you have a file on your computer or somewhere else, you can get it and then import that. That's where we're going to get then the Excel. Then also here we have the database. In case which kind of database do you want to get your data from, you can import with that. Then also you're going to, it depends on the Power Platform that you are using for your to store your data. Also Azure is web services for Microsoft. I don't want to go all through all of them, but I know the biggest part is like, okay, can we get something? So here, the Excel that we have here uh, is that you can come in and then you go to you can go in to your particular folder where you want to get the Excel format, and that's where you can get the data. So for now, let me try to review in my let me try to review in my downloads which file I want to get out. Okay, so I've seen this file. Okay, so I need to use the okay. So I'm just creating, put it in a folder. So I'm okay. So I wanted to put it in a folder. I just downloaded the data set and I did not put it in its individual folder before. So I'll share that. So we are here. And then let's come back. Yeah. So here I'll try to connect. So you can, Excel can be in XS X, something like that, and then different formats of Excel. But also most times we import or transfer our data in terms of what? In terms of CSV. CSV is comma separated files. Most times you're going to find out that you can save an Excel file in terms of comma separated files. So most times you'll find yourself wanting to transfer or get data from those data sets that are CSV. So that's what I will try to demonstrate here. So, so this is data sets here, then fact cell. It gets that data. This data was from a tutorial sometime back which I was learning on to this Power BI. So this data you get fact cell of the data set. Kindly confirm. Yeah. Then also it shows you the columns that you have in your data set, okay? And also it gives you a brief. So sometimes you want to get transform data. When you want to transform data is that you are very sure some things are not right. For example, in case you wanted to delete the first row, some data sets have the rows, maybe 2 rows represent the title. So you maybe want to delete the first row. Maybe you want to change the type of maybe you want to change the type of variable it is. And we were quite sure that last time you imported it was not read well. Most of the things you do them in transform. But let's go to load. When you load the data, it's going to appear in your panel here of the data. And then also the canvas changes here. You say now, before it was talking about import your data, build your visuals. Now it's talking about build your visuals with your data. Now you're seeing even this arrow, they're showing you just select or drag fields from your data panel onto the report canvas. So why not follow that instruction? So for example, here there is profit. I'll just copy the way they're telling me to do and put it there. With that, Power BI will go in there and try to visualize this. So this is actually the sum. That means the total number of profits that we have there, because you see sum is the profit. So this is the first visual we have created. And it's just that simple, that you go import the data, then just drag the folder and just drag the variable and put it there, depending on the type of display that you want to get. So if you go back to data view, playing a data frame or a data set here, and then also of course the profits column. Where is it? Where is it? That should be profit. Well, okay. Yeah. That's the profits column. And you've seen that that's where it is. But now I wanted you to show you that the kind of summarizations that you can determine, because sometimes this has shown the sum. But what if all the time for you want to display the average of profits that you make? So you want to determine it from there, okay? So when you determine it from there, most times, of course, this has already gone through. So you want, and if you remove such a visual and then you drag profits, it will show a different sum here. So this is now the average, an average of that is 375. So you find out that you kind of determine what kind of the data speaks into the visualization from the data for the data view. Also, if you want to change it and categorize the type of data that you want, the format is here. If you want the decimal, whole number, percentage, scientific. Also, you can change the name of the day of the variable name, the data type, in case of course it's suitable. There are a lot of things that you can do. Also, you can group even sort the column. So I just wanted to show you how the data view relates to the canvas or the report view. Then in case you have a data frame, an extra data frame, and bring it here, it will show the relationship. But also this also summarizes some information about the data. But this is really important and handy if you are going to work with multiple data sets. Though this is not an interest for today, I will not be able to show that. Just wanted to display a little bit on that. So just wanted to show you here. I'll take back this to Sam, and then I'm very sure there is a way I should refresh this so that this changes. Though I may not know it at the moment, but I'm very sure there should be a way to refresh that. But again, here I want the total profits, but maybe according to my view here, I want to put it in a categorized format. So I will also show you how to change the variable, the type of chart, but I wanted to show you what if you drag, because that's the curious question you might have. What if I drag a column on top of that? Let me see. At the description, I can let's look at this. Okay. Okay, let me use city ID. City ID, there is another additional information that's supposed to come along with this, but this shows the ID of that city. So if we join those two data sets, it will bring in the names of the city. But display that customer key. Maybe I'll try. Okay. I just dragged. So this count of the city. Of course, now this is that is in numeric. That's if you go back here to the city ID, it's showing you that it's a whole number. But actually, if you want to change it to another type of variable, you have to put it here in text so that it changes. You go to this. So of course, it doesn't have to show this. Then when you come here, you can change what is on the x-axis and what is on the y-axis. For example, the city, that's not what I want. Move field. So we have to get that data set. Now, okay, let's end up getting the data set. Let me see where it is. I'm going to get the city data set to refer to that city. So get that. Just give me a minute. It should be here. I'm going to copy it and put it in the same folder. Okay. So I have it. So I want to grab the cities so that it makes sense. So I get the data. Again, I'm going to select, but then they have to be a city code that will link the two cities together. So this is the key that we want. Okay, so it will be able to link up with the other cities. There are two data here. I want to show you the city key also here. If you click on this, there is a city key, but if you click on a fact cell, also there is a city key. So if you want to get the names of the cities, you link up those two. That if you remember in our tutorial or our session in dplyr, and we talked about them being in places. Okay, so if uh, module of the model view, or we are used to explain that you have two data sets and you want to show how they actually link together, and that's where you're going to link them, because if you want to display the city name within the data set of fact cell, you want to get the names from the dim city. So you find that if you want to do that, you come to city key, and then you want to drag and take it to city key in this one here. So most times it may do a perfect match, but I like to be perfect. If I'm doing that, I drag and put it there, and then it will show you a one-to-many. The facts of having this is called many, and this is one-to-many. It comes in again in what is called cardinality in databases. If you go through that post I put up in the WhatsApp group, you'll be able to get to know what cardinality is. But it really shows the relationship between two data sets. So these data sets are linked. And if I come to this part here of, if I come back to this part of fact cells, I can easily bring up the city. I'm going to drag it, city name, put it up there and displays. This is a visualization that I wanted to make at first. But since it was having other like codes, it was bringing in numeric, I could have changed it, but again, it wouldn't make sense. So I ended up dragging it here. So that's how you want to create a visual. This, sorry, you can expand this. So according to the cities, and this is the sum of the profit, you find out, can't pronounce that very well, but that's the city with the highest profit. Well, you cannot only make one visual, and I will show you later how to change the visuals along the way. So let's make a time series line with displaying mainly how we can display it with profits, but along the time frame. So I'll drag profits again. Now you can click outside, okay? I've double clicked, sorry about that. But once you click outside, that means you want to select something different. So you drag this, put profit there, but then we saw we had date around here. We had a date. Yeah, date of delivery date. So this can bring up to in terms of years, but also you can change the type of chart. For example, what if we want to display a line chart instead of, or what, of bar charts? You want to come and you can click on it. Though, of course, this doesn't look the best in terms of showing the line chart, but if that's what you want, then you could literally change, because if you find out this year is made out of a date, not actually a year, you can change the formatting of the year. Okay. Of course, again, that's where you come into again modeling, and then you select the date. To notice here the Excel, the x-axis, sorry, you can select which kind of chart that you want to display that 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 time series. So here you find out you want at least to, this is like monthly, okay, and then that is the year, that is the quarter, and then the year. But most times you want to add all of the hierarchies. If you want to select only the date, you can deselect only the year. Okay. Let me try to remove this field and bring it back. And this is the date. I think having the month would be best. I think having the month would be best. Yep. Oh, we have to add the year. I wanted to do it monthly by all the years. So let's do that. Sorry. Okay. So I want to have quarter of the, yeah. So they may chop off some because of the space, but at least it will show you the profits over time for that particular city. So if you find out, if you click this, that means for this city, this is how the profits came in. And if you click on another city here, that's how it comes. It also displays that. So sometimes you want to click on more than one. You hold down your control button, and then you select the ones that you want. Okay, because you maybe want to compare the profits for those major cities, and you know maybe they're in one region. You could do that, or you could create another column for regions. Well, not to show you that, not also to make a very bad report and you don't have totals, or you don't have a heading. The release part here where they call text box. And when you come to text box, it's going to show you, of course, make sure I've done something, but subconsciously, I want to show it to you. Make sure that when you are doing this, you have clicked outside. I'm over right clicking, left clicking, sorry. Uh, so you want to select this add text to your report, and then you have, remember, I've clicked here. Oh, I've done that again. So you want to drag and put there. So here I've just clicked on it. Just to explain that, I've just clicked on the text box. Since I've clicked up here, then it will display in that area. But you can always resize this. And here you're putting normal text. For example, report of sales. Let me just put report of profits. So here with this, you can highlight and change the font if you want. And then you can change also the size, and then also make it bold. And I like to change the color too. So, of course, based on the color theme of the organization, put it in center, and there you go. So I really, you can see that in just a short period of time, you can do so many things. And we have not really gone to so many things that, of course, we have not even looked at the different visualizations we can really do. But you can see it's more of you drag, you drop. And the level of customizations you can always find with you can always come here, data view. But then there is called the power edit query, where the Power Query editor. The Power Query editor is where when you go to transform data. So if you, let me see if you're seeing that. Yeah, that's the Power Query editor. So the Power Query editor is where you kind of do any kind of manipulations that you want on your data, and you can even change the type of the type of variable. See, choose columns, and then you put it in a format that you want. In case you want time, duration, text, any that you want. Because, for example, this is numeric, but I wanted it to be text because I know this is actually an ID. So I've changed it. And even if you see here, they say change type. Maybe what else? Customer key. I want you to show here. I want you to show you here that it also adds up. That is text. So this again changes that. So there are so many things that you can edit with data. So I just wanted to show you that you're not limited to only visualizing what you have. You can even add in here. This is where you write the language, most of the functions if you want to edit your data or make any kind of manipulation. But that's more of if you really go into deep into Power BI. I thought this tutorial was mainly to show you how to really get started with Power BI. And also, by the time we really demonstrate on how to integrate Power BI with R, at least you know where to get started from. Most of the things you really do them by practice, and then that's how you get to learn so many other things. Just wanted to display that also for the Power Query editor. So yep, that's really it. I don't know if you have some questions that I could answer, and if you feel like some things were unclear, I feel like we shall have to create a report sometime if it's to come. A report that we can even put on the Power BI service, and even people could view them in their own phones. But this is mainly for the introductory bit. Any questions from you guys? Was it fruitful? Did you learn something new? Or was it very less information or very quick? Okay. Jimmy says, I appreciate the introduction very much. Thanks a lot. Oh, Reese, thank you. Julius, it was helpful. Thank you. Okay, no questions. Oh, Samokello, yes, surely I'll share the recording. Okay. Perfect. Yana, thank you. So I'll stop